our business. But the problem with is that you're so entrenched in your business, you're too scared to raise your head out of the water and take a breath. And so what I thought I'd do is have a look at quotes, and most of these, barring two, come from Covey, that are life-changing, powerful quotes. And I want to deal with each one of them in a little bit of detail in the time that I've got. So it's a little bit of death by PowerPoint, unfortunately. I don't have my normal videos and pictures and stuff, what have you. But we'll go through it, and hopefully the content will inspire you and get you to start to think differently about where you are and which of these quotes strikes a chord with you. Is my time up already? Okay, so let's have a look at that. This presentation is on the web. It will be on the web. I've given it to Peter, sent it through last night. So you can just download it on there. It's in a PDF format, and you can have a look at it. But take notes. Feel free to take notes and just think about what it is that this means for you. What I would like to do ultimately, those of you that know me, is that you leave here with some take-home value. It's pointless me talking here and you will say, well, that's great. Okay, that's the difference between motivation and inspiration. You can go away from here and you can say, hell, Steve, I can apply that in my life. Take one thing out of what I'm going to share with you, just one of these 10 things, and make a difference. Okay, so let's go for it. The first powerful life-changing quote is, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Now, some of you will remember last month, I spoke about quadrant 2 priority management. And we spoke about that which is urgent and important is crisis management, but we tend to forget the stuff that is important. And this is what this is referring to as well. So think about taking your schedule and turn it the other way around. Say, right, what is my number one priority? What is the first thing I need to do? And prioritize that. So it's not about prioritizing what's on the schedule, having a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but to schedule your priorities. So I look at my priorities and I say, right, the most important thing I need to do today is this. And I schedule that as a priority. And I will do it and I will continue with it until it is complete. Okay. So the main thing, this is Peter's favorite saying. If you've worked with Peter, you'll know, you'll say this. Allan, keep the main thing the main thing. When you're doing something, how often are we distracted by what's going on around us? A simple thing. If you've got an alarm on your computer for when an email comes in, how many of you have the discipline not to open that email or to even look at the screen? And then the next one comes in, beep, oh, it's for me. Remember what's going on? I'm just dying to be communicated with. Hell's teeth. You don't need to look at it. And so I only have 3 times in a day that I look at my emails. Because if it was that urgent, I'd get a call. Or a knock on my door. Okay? Don't allow distractions like that to control you. Think differently. Say, I'm busy with this thing. I want to get it finished. The biggest downfall that we have is not finishing the task we currently are busy with. And so you'll all know this. You have a busy day. You have a day of hell. You are so busy. And at the end of the day, you've actually accomplished nothing. Because you've been busy being busy. Not accomplishing anything. You've just been busy. I'd rather have one thing in my in tray and my out tray done for the day than have a whole lot of stuff that's between me and the out tray lying on my desk. And that's where you see these desks in a mess. Because we're busy with everything. So the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Stay focused on what the main thing is. If you, like Peter says to me, Allan, you're writing something, stick to the main thing. Stop waffling. Peter's quite direct. Okay. The third thing, I love this. Live out your imagination, not your history. Why do we so often reflect on the past? We're living in the past. We talk about the past. And I'm not talking about the good things about the past. That's obviously a good thing to do. But let's live out what we imagine. In my book, I've got a section. It's talking about dreams and I'll talk about imagine. Imagine what your life could be like. Why can't? What made us so excited as kids? Is we imagined being these things, isn't it? And you look at children today and they're excited about the imagination. And you look at your kid and you think, where did you get that from? And then we put them down. Let them imagine. We should start imagining what our lives could be like, the kind of life we could have, the kind of business I could be running, the kind of people I could be speaking to, the kind of books I could be writing. That's the kind of associations I could be having. Imagine that. Just imagine what your life could be like. And forget about, you learn from the history, but it's the past. There's nothing we can do about it. What are we doing going forward? You know? Nicholas talks about the motorbike business. And, you know, imagine what that could become. I get excited when I hear it, because I just think there's a fantastic opportunity. So use in your business, imagine. Patson, imagine what your security business could be like. And that draws excitement, because it's nothing that's too small. Just imagine. And forget about this history part, the stuff that puts us back. Okay, so this is my own quote. Respect, empathy, and trust are the foundational principles that hold all relationships together, and that are the most essential ingredients in effective communication. A lot of people think trust is the only thing that holds a relationship together. Well, trust, my friends, and some of you have heard me talk about this, is the outcome of respect, is the outcome of empathy. Trust is the cherry on the top. It doesn't start with trust. When I meet you, I don't trust you, but I respect you, and that's where our relationship starts. And so that, for me, is essential. Those three ingredients, starting with respect, through empathy, then the trust will develop. And you know, in a relationship, the first thing to go is not respect, it's trust. The cherry at the top goes, and you've got to restart again. So just think about that. If you're developing relationships with potential clients, with staff, with other people, just think about those three elements. They are fundamental, and they are key to communication. The biggest problem we have in life today is the definition of communication. Because for all of us it's different. There's only one way of communicating, and that's two-way. While I'm talking to you, you are communicating with me. I'm looking at your body language. It constitutes 55% of your communication. I don't hear a word, but I'm looking at your body language. So when you sit there, that's the two-way. I'm talking, you're listening, but you're also talking. We need to understand that. When you're talking to people, you'll see the last quote that I've got has to do with that aspect of listening. Most of us spend too much time on what is urgent and not enough time on what is important. You know what the problem is? Is because something is not urgent, we ignore it. So, and I'll use this analogy again. What about your health? We've got a couple of wellness specialists here today. When do people worry about their health? Before the heart attack or after? After. Yeah. Is your health important? So why do we wait until there's a crisis? Until it's urgent? Your relationships. When are relationships in tatters? Before the divorce or after? Right? I mean, how do you answer that? Just before. Okay. We wait until the relationship's on the rocks before we go and look for help. Am I right, Val?
Yes.
Okay. Relationships are important. Relationships with your children. When do you bother to listen to what your children are saying? Before they're on drugs or after they're on drugs? When the problem's already there. You know, I've made my point. Okay. Let's focus on our lives, what's important. And it's linked to that number one, about priorities. Okay. So, you've decided what your highest priorities are and have the courage, pleasantly, smilingly, and non-apologetically to say no. How many of us have difficulty saying no? Come on. Just say no. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to ridicule and just say, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I have other priorities. I can get to that at this time, or can we do that then? I'm not going to ignore you, but if it's going to interfere with my priority for the day and my scheduling, you're going to get a no. And I won't apologize for it. But I'll do it nicely. Okay, that's important. And the only way you do that is when you've got this burn inside you. You've got a bigger why. It says, you know what, this is why I'm doing this. And I cannot be distracted, and I will not be distracted. So the enemy, you know, you get good, better, best. The enemy of best is often the good. I'm good enough. I'm doing good enough. My business is doing good enough. But it's not doing the best it can be. I'm not being the best I can be. And so for me, it's a case of being the master of your destiny. Not being the passenger in your vehicle of life, but being the driver. And just staying focused and say, this is the way I'm going, and I'm not moving out of there. I'm happy to engage with you, preferably at my convenience. And as rude as that you may think that sounds, too many of us, you try and get an appointment with Peter Bolgan at your convenience. Peter will engage with you at his convenience. And that's why he's a successful business owner. Okay? Your business has to come first. You've got to be the manager of your business and your time and your priorities. You've got to get out of the habit of allowing people to take you. It's not about being nice. It's about being real. What is reality? Okay? I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. We can all go on and tell a long story about our life and the circumstances of our life. I can go and tell you all the circumstances of my life currently and bore you to hell. At the end of the day, it's what I'm deciding to do today. Despite what's going on in my life, I'm making a decision to be a success, to be positive, to get through this difficult period. How many of your businesses are going through a challenge right now? Just raise your hands. Look at the hands. Look at the hands. Okay. So what is the question you're asking yourself? Are you going to dwell on the circumstances, or are you going to make some decisions that possibly will turn your life, your business in another direction, and give you hope? Okay. It is about that decision. It is about thinking differently and saying, this is what I'm going to decide to do. All right. I teach people how to treat me by what I will allow. Simple. People will treat you the way you allow them to. I will not allow people to swear in my company. I will not allow people to blaspheme. I will not allow people to treat me with disrespect. And if I feel that, you're going to get the message. I will tell you exactly. I say, excuse me, that's inappropriate. Or, hey, that hurts. You allow people to treat you the way you allow them. And people will treat you that way. Let them, remember about respect? If you feel disrespected, let me know. Let me know so that I can change the way I'm treating you. But you don't have to tolerate my disrespect under any circumstances. Love is a verb. The feeling love is the fruit of the love verb. It's action. You know what's interesting? When you're serving somebody else, there's a demonstration of your love for them. Who benefits from that the most? The person receiving the service or the person giving the service? The person giving. Okay. That person giving the service. If I was to serve Roger in some way, be of service to Roger, my love for Roger would grow rather than his love for me. That is the act of service. And that is the benefit of service. In fact, a lot of people take for granted the service that they get from people who love them. Taken advantage of. Okay? So you'll serve people because you love people. And quite often, we stop serving people because we get taken advantage of. You understand what I'm saying? So while my love's growing for the people I'm serving, sometimes it's not reciprocated. And that's not why I'm serving. I'm just saying, be careful of it. Serve for the right reason. Because that's what you want to do, not for what you want to get out of it. You don't have to be a person of influence to be influential. I love talking on the subject of influence and being a person of influence. The most influential people in my life probably don't know the impact that they've had on my life. They don't know the lessons that they've taught me. And so I use 4 L's, and I shared this about 3 years ago, just after we started this Imbizo. And those 4 L's are love. Love is an influential language. Can you feel when somebody truly loves you? I'm not talking in an intimate way. Truly loves you through respect, empathy, understanding, and trust. You can feel it, hey? There's a genuineness there. You can't fool it. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't fool love. Genuine love. The other one is to listen. We live in a world that that is so rushed and so full of stuff, when do we actually stop to sit and listen to our partner? When do we stop and listen, truly listen? Where does listening take place? How many of you can remember this? Where does listening take place? Does it take place where? Which part of the anatomy? Where does hearing take place? Hearing takes place here. So then where does listening take place? You got a winner. And when you sit with somebody, you'll know whether they want to listen to you. You've all experienced talking to somebody about something that's really important and not being listened to. And I'd be careful of using, I hear you. When somebody says that to me, then I say, hang on, stop. But are you listening? You see, some of you have heard those birds outside. Hearing is involuntary. It's going to happen because you've got a hole on the side of your head. But listening is a completely voluntary thing. And you want to be a person of influence. Show people that you listen. Show people that you listen. Let them feel that you're truly listening to them. So you take yourself out of your shoes and you put yourself in their shoes. And you look at the world from where they're coming from. How many of you have been taught by your children? How many of you are open to learning? You want to be a person of influence. Demonstrate that. Demonstrate that not only in your own personal development, but when somebody is sharing something with you, learn from that person. Have the attitude that children have when you show a child a book and they're totally in awe of the book. They're just in it. Why can't we do that? Why can't we just be in awe? Listen, learn, be a learner for the rest of your life. Just say, what am I going to learn today? How am I going to apply that? And the last one, JP will relate to this. Okay, is to laugh. It's to laugh. Just, you know what, we need to laugh. We need to laugh. Firstly, we need to laugh at ourselves. We take ourselves too seriously, generally speaking. Okay, Hellman, I make a mistake, I can giggle. I just think, oh, where do you come from? Oh, have a good giggle, have a good laugh. There's nothing better from, it sends out all the medical stuff, the endorphins and all sorts of things start to gel when you have a good giggle, a good laugh. It's a stress relief. So I want to encourage you to do that. Those are the 4 L's. Love, listen, learn, and laugh. And then I just want to end off with this quote. And this will you can take some thinking about this. The chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. These change bands are designed not to make the habit too strong that it cannot be broken. The longer you hang on to your counterproductive habits, the harder it's going to be to make the change that you're going to make. If you haven't got one of these, please take one. My compliments. Okay, so thanks, guys. And just remember, 5th of December, we mean business. Please, end of the year, I'm going to put together something that is appropriate for the end of the year to do with your businesses, and this is where we're going to meet. Okay, thanks, Pete.